What's up, party people? Happy 2019. It is 2019. Happy New Year. On today's podcast, we are going to be talking about my plan for 2019, and we're going to find out whether I'm staying with an independent or I'm going to a national franchise. So let's get this introduction out of the way.
Real Estate Podcast, where it's all about taking your real estate to a bold new level so you can dominate your market. Find us online at www.boldpodcast.com or subscribe to us on iTunes. And now, your host, the boldest guy in the real estate industry, Bret Baker.
So 2019, new intro. How'd you guys like it? Is it, do you like it? Do you not? Today, I am actually on the go. I'm on mobile today, so if you hear a little background noise, I apologize about that, but I am on the go today. What we are going to be talking about today is my plans for 2019. Am I going to be staying with an independent? Am I going to be going to a national franchise? What's my plan? I do want to get some exciting new things knocked out of the way right off the bat. The first thing is I can no longer swear on this podcast. Really good for some, really sucks for me. And the reason is we have now been approved through the iTunes store, so you can find us on iTunes now, and they do not allow that. So, no swearing for Bret anymore, which is kind of going to be a tough one for me. For those of you that are Android users, I do not mean to exclude you, but I do love to exclude you because, let's be honest, I do not understand Android. I just don't get it. I'm an Apple guy, own every single Apple product, and I do mean that. But do not understand. Someone actually handed me an Android the other day and told me to call somebody. And I'll be honest with you, I looked at it like it was alien technology. I'm a pretty tech-savvy dude, and I could not figure out how to place a call on an Android. Yes, I know that is sad, but my point is, right now, I'm working on getting, however you Android users listen to podcasts. I'm going to try to find a way to get it on there for you, but right now, it is available on the iTunes store. You can always check out right here, theboldpodcast.com. But anywho, that is an exciting announcement. Exciting announcement number 2. For 2019, we actually have to, looking at where we're at in this podcast, we actually have to step back into 2018. For those of you that really know about my 2018, financially it was amazing. Personally, it sucked. And I mean, it sucked. So, we have to look at that and then step forward a bit and go, okay, I really didn't do as many podcasts as I had wanted to do. I kind of slacked on that a bit. So, because I slacked on that, part of my plan for 2019, I'm going to put a lot more weight into this podcast. I'm going to put a lot more time and effort into this so I can provide you with really good topics that are going to help you do more business. My goal for 2019 is to help more people do more business in real estate. That is my goal for 2019. And so with that comes a few things. Some of you have noticed, I'm sure, there's a little Ask Bret icon on the side of boldpodcast.com. And what that is, it's been up for a few days. What that is for 2019, we are launching a new part of the Bold Podcast. And that new part is going to be Ask Bret Show. And what that is essentially your chance to get your problems, any issues you're having in real estate, any branding, marketing, anything like that, any problems you're having in your business today, that is your chance to get on with me, and you can either just fill out the form, or if you want to actually get on the podcast with me, we can work it out live on the podcast. But that's what the Ask Bret show is. So every other week, is going to be an Ask Bret show. And on the opposite weeks, it's going to be a standard Bold podcast. And in the Bold podcast, we have so many cool people lined up for 2019. I am so excited, it's not even funny. So that's exciting announcement number 2. And I'm keeping this pretty short today, just so you know. I don't want to drag this out too long. The next really cool thing that I've been working on, I know that there's a lot of you that know that I post a lot in a variety of groups. I am in a stupid amount of Facebook groups, and I am very, very vocal. That is changing in 2019. What I have found is that there's a lot of people that appreciate what I have to say, and a lot of people that see that I'm trying to be more forward thinking than a lot of the real estate agents that I've found that are stuck in about the 1987 to 89 range, who still think the MLS is literally a book of pictures and properties. Folks, that's changed. And so due to some of the people that are in those groups, I am no longer going to be contributing as much as I have been before. I am going to be taking all of my ramblings and all of my thoughts, and I'm going to be putting them into a new group that I have literally formed today. It is called the Real Estate Underground. And we'll stop there for a second, because you're like, Bret, the Real Estate Underground? Like, you're a marketing guy. What the heck is that? So, let me touch on that real fast. By the way, it is like 17 degrees outside right now. I'm a Southern California dude at heart. This is way too cold without snow, so bear with me. I am freezing right now as I'm driving. The Real Estate Underground is formed based on the way that I grew up. So I grew up in Southern California, and I grew up in the Southern California underground ska and punk time, if you would. And so that was kind of my upbringing. Was I vividly remember a lot of the bands that you guys have all heard of today. I remember them as garage bands. And so in the SoCal punk and ska scene, you got to hear about all the new stuff before it was released. In the underground scene, you got to see, like, before really Blink 182 became Blink 182, they would play it like Chain Reaction, and no one knew who they were, and then you'd get hit in the head with a drumstick. But that's not the point. There's so many bands that started in the underground and then came mainstream. Well, it's the same idea that I'm doing with real estate. There's so many ideas that I've been working on over the past 3 years that, to be very truthful, real estate wasn't really ready for. My association here basically created 2 new rules because of me, because they couldn't figure out what it was that I was doing. And really at the time, I realized that real estate wasn't ready for a lot of the stuff that I wanted to bring out. And I think as we move into 2019, we're going to see more and more new, fresh ideas come out. And I want to make sure that those people that are in the Real Estate Underground with me, the fresh new scene, they're getting those fresh new ideas. I want those people that are in the group to be able to get on the forefront of the things that I am thinking, the things that I am doing, and really that's the movement I'm trying to have. Real estate as a whole is a dying industry, and I know some people will argue with that on me, that real estate will never ever die. It's just like the pilot will never ever be able to leave the cockpit. And that's because people wouldn't feel safe without a pilot in the cockpit of an airplane. Fun fact, folks, pilots don't do much anymore. They talk on the radios a little bit. They literally line the airplane up on the runway. They hit the throttles at 500 feet. That baby does its own thing all the way to pretty much the destination. The really cool part is they have Cat 3 approaches now that are coupled Cat 3s that quite literally will land themselves. Yeah, that airplane, pilot isn't even doing that. But no one will get on an airplane that isn't piloted by a pilot because there's a safety thing there. What happens if the machine breaks? I don't think that real estate will ever go away, but I think there's a lot of things out there threatening real estate as a whole. And I don't think it's the things that you guys think that it is. I think that everybody's like, oh my God, Zillow's gonna take over. Yeah, that's a legitimate concern that people have given me. I think that Zillow is going to take over. Yeah, Zillow isn't your problem, guys. Fun fact, Zillow is not our problem. No, AI is our problem. And you can quote me on that. But that's a different story. And that's for a different podcast. I will tell you right now that in the real estate underground, it is a no holds barred. I will give you my opinion on everything. And there's been a lot of stuff that I have to hold back on due to group rules and stuff like that. Well, if it's my group, I can say pretty much how I feel about pretty much everything. So, Real Estate Underground starting today. How can you find out more information about it? Simple. www.boldpodcast.com/underground. Pretty easy, right? The next part, the Ask Bret show, how can you be a part of that? www.boldpodcast.com/Ask Bret. I do want to touch on one more thing here. I'm keeping this really, really, really short today because I'm pretty sure most of you are hungover. I am not, but I'm pretty sure most of you are. So we're going to keep this wicked short for everybody. I do have a couple of more announcements, but I want to get to one thing really fast. The one thing that I want to talk about is where I feel 2019, the biggest issue with 2019. My true belief is that in 2019, there will be less voicemail left than there ever has been before. My thought is on this is I've been watching this trend for a while. Most people are not leaving voicemail. And really what's happening is they're calling someone until they get an answer that they want. They're literally calling until they get someone to pick up the phone. My advice for you for 2019, ditch your voicemail. I'm not kidding. Literally ditch your voicemail. Those of you that actually have my personal cell phone, there's very few people that do. But you'll find out, even if you call my business phone, no one ever gets a voicemail with me. And they don't because I have a receptionist that answers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now, why do I do that? Because there is someone always there to answer the phone. And most of you would have no idea that they are not in my office. They are a 24/7 virtual receptionist. It's called Lex Reception. Now, I've been using them for a while. I'm a huge fan, huge fan, because no one will leave a voicemail anymore. And so they did a live body on the other side that has customized scripts that I've put in so that that person that is answering the phone sounds like someone from my company. And the caller, for the most part, has no idea that they are talking to someone that is 500 miles away. You would have no idea if you call them. You'll have no idea. So I've decided that for 2019, I am so hell-bent on people getting rid of their voicemail. I worked out a deal with Lex Reception for you. Like I said, I don't get anything out of this. All I get is I have a great product that I know about, and I want to share it with you. Lex Reception. So actually, if you go to www.boldpodcast.com/voicemail, you can actually find out all about Lex Reception, how much they cost, etc. The deal that I've worked out, basically, if you call them to set it up, it's really easy. Tell them you want the Bret Baker special. Not kidding. Literally be like, hey, I want the Bret Baker special. They'll set you up with my scripts that I've already put in. It'll change it to your company and your name, obviously, but my scripts, and it'll give you $50 off your second month. So, again, I don't get anything out of it. It's just like with Ava. I don't get anything out of that. Ava, you all know that I love it and I preach it and I'm a big fan. Well, Lex Reception is the same way. So again, www.boldpodcast.com/voicemail. The final thing here is, am I going to a national franchise or am I staying with an independent? I think there's going to be a lot of people really confused when I tell you I am not going to the national franchise. I literally did all the math on it. And don't get me wrong, I think maybe we should put this out there. The national franchise, the only one that I have considered, because I've looked at all of my options, the only one that made sense to me was EXP. Now, that is not to say that I will not go to EXP in the future. That is 100% not what I am saying. I am saying at this time, it does not make sense to me to do that because right now, as an independent, financially, it just makes more sense. I got my team together. I got all of the people that are a big part of my life, and I basically said, hey guys, we are faced with two options. Let's weigh the pros and the cons, and then because I treat my teammates like business partners, they are all business partners to me. I literally sat them down and said, all right, we're all business, we're in business together. This is a business partner decision. I want to vote, and we took it to a vote. And truthfully, the independent won. And the independent won because we have control over our business. We're not relying on anybody else to influence our business decisions. So, there's my reasoning. Do I like EXP? Yes. Do I think it is the brokerage of the future? You bet I do. Have I done all of the math on it? And have I really researched everything out? You better believe it. And you know what? It was absolutely amazing as far as what they said they were going to do. They did it. Financially, it didn't make sense for my team, so I didn't do it. Sorry to leave you guys with that today, but again, if you want to be on the Ask Bret show, www.boldpodcast.com/AskBret. If you want any information at all about my voicemail scripts and how I do all that, and you want more information on Lex Reception, www.boldpodcast.com/voicemail. And do not forget, I am capping the real estate underground at a certain number of people. I want a really highly engaged group of people. No leeches, none of that crap. If you're going to be in that group, you are going to contribute. www.boldpodcast.com/underground. That's my podcast for today. I told you I'd keep it short, under 20 minutes. That's a record. You guys have a happy new year.
Thank you for listening to the Bold Podcast. Don't forget, you can find us online at www.boldpodcast.com or subscribe to us on iTunes so you never miss an episode. Looking to kick your real estate to a new level? Want to get coached by Bret? Check out www.bookbret.com for more information.